Hello everybody, me again. It's been a while since I last made a video, but thankfully not as long as the last time. Just wanted to let you know a few things that have been going on. My last video I talked about getting my diagnosis, but unfortunately not a lot has happened beyond that. The psychologists gave me the contact details of someone at my local council who said that get in touch with this person, tell them you want a fax assessment and they'll sort you out. So I email them, tell them what I want, get an appointment arranged. They come over, and one of the first things they say to me is, I'm not the person who does the fax assessment, which was kind of a what moment, because I'd been told that they were, and that was the whole point of this, having the meeting. So it turns out that meeting was pretty much pointless, because she can't really do anything. She was, just someone to talk to, and she came. We were there for maybe 2 hours or so, just chatting about me, about my diagnosis and whatnot. Sorry, there's someone coming. Don't want to talk when there's someone around. Earshot. I'll just light my cigar. I think there's something wrong with my humidor. I've put more of the solution into the humidating thing, but this thing is dry as a bone. Anyway, so we sat and we talked for a while. About me, about life, about my Asperger's and everything, and as a result of that, it was pretty much just yes, I think you're entitled to a fax assessment. I can't do that for you, but here's the person who can. I emailed them saying that I wanted a fax assessment, got nothing back. Rang them up, and they said, "Oh, we didn't get an email. Just give me your contact details and I'll refer you now." That was sometime last week, and nobody's got back to me yet, which kind of is, the same old story, really. This is ridiculous. Yeah, this thing is a total loss. That's horrible. Excuse me. Definitely something wrong with that humidor. Sorry about that. Quite disappointed. But anyway, so I don't know what's going to go on with that fax assessment. I'm sure I'll get it eventually, but I don't know how many times I'm going to have to chase them, which is annoying. I hate having to chase people. Like, you should do it anyway, without me having to pester you. When it comes to the job centre, I've been trying to, I used to be seen by what's called the disability advisor. It was for people who, I'm not sure if it was for people who were physically disabled or just mentally disabled in some manner. But yeah, I asked to be seen by her in the past, and I got referred, and I used to see her. Then, in the past there's never been a problem. It's like I would ask to be referred to her, and I would get referred to her. And, usually the next time I was due to go to the job centre anyway, my appointment would be with her. But, I went on holiday to Florida in June last year. I had to sign off of Job Seekers Allowance because, I wasn't going to be able to be looking for a job because I was out of the country. And when I got back, I said I'd like to be referred to the special needs advisor because I was being seen by her anyway. I said, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do that. A few months go by. I need to be referred to the disability advisor. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. I get my diagnosis. I show them the letter saying, here, you're legally required to refer me to the disability advisor. Yeah, sure, we'll do it. Nothing. One time I actually made sure that someone put it in the system and made a phone call that I needed to be referred to them. But still, nothing. It's ridiculous. They're legally bloody required to refer me to the disability advisor, for God's sake. And then dragging their bloody feet. Everybody drags their bloody feet. NHS drags their feet. Job centre drags their feet. All this bloody bureaucracy. But anyway, the only other new thing that's happened between is last year, my dad retired from the police, took early retirement. He qualified because he'd done a stint in the army in the 80s, and you're not required to do a full term in the police if you've served with the armed forces. And he got a job as a caretaker at a special needs school not far from here. They have lots of volunteers who work for them. They've got their own IT department and everything. And the guy who runs the IT department at the school used to be a student at the school who would volunteer in the IT department at his spare time, and they eventually hired him on as permanent staff. So they said, my parents said, we think you should go and, do, volunteer here, what we're good for, you get you out of the house, you'll be interacting with people, building up your social skills, and because it's a special needs school and they, deal with autistic children every day, it should be a lot easier for you, they're more understanding and they'll be able to help you. I said I didn't really want to do it, because, pretty lazy, to be honest. But it's like they asked me if I wanted to do it. I said no, and then they made me do it anyway. I really don't like that. Being given the illusion of choice, it really, really pisses me off. But anyway. Several months go by and there was nothing, and they, my dad kept saying, they don't have anything going on at the minute, but, it should be, in a few months anyway. And one day he comes home and says, I spoke to the woman who coordinates the volunteering, They still don't have any work in the IT department, but they do have work in the admin office, doing data entry and stuff. Would you want to do that? No. I hate doing admin stuff. On the few occasions it's actually been part of my duties in working in IT, I've absolutely abhorred it. No, I'm not going to go and do that for free. I mean, I wouldn't even take that as a job that I was paid for, let alone doing it for free. They relented over that. Because I said I would still do the volunteering in the IT department. Then, one day my dad says, "Hey, they want you to come to the IT department next week." Okay, fine, then I'll go. We go in. The woman who coordinates the volunteers wasn't in because it was a snow day and she couldn't get into the school. So I was just sitting in the IT room with the one girl who was in the IT department that day, doing odd jobs for her and whatnot. It wasn't exactly a full day. They were, literally, they were just, I installed Windows on a laptop. Really, that was it. The whole day I just sat there and, went with her when she did something to watch her do it, and that was it. And then, we go home. So the next week when I'm due to go in there, because they wanted me in on Tuesdays, I go in there. The woman who coordinates the coordinates the volunteers. Get my words out properly. She was there, so I waited for her. Went into her office and she came in and she had this big wad of paper. There must have been like 200 or 300 pages in there. And she said, "Right, I've got some data entry for you to do." I'm thinking, what? I specifically said I didn't want to do this. I'm supposed to be volunteering in the IT department. I did it. It took me forever. I screwed up in the middle of it and had to start all over again, which only made things worse. And I finished that. She comes and she was coming in every once in a while to see how I was doing, and she said, "Oh, you're finished? Do you want some more work to do?" And I was like, well, I was supposed to be volunteering in the IT department. I was offered a position in the admin office, and I said no because I didn't want to do, admin work or data entry. And she said, "Well, this is a volunteer position. If you don't want to do it, you can just go home." And well, I said, I said to her, "This might be a volunteer position, but I didn't volunteer. I was volunteered for it." No. And I had to, explain to her that I said to my parents when they offered me the position that I didn't want to do it. And they offered me the choice. I said no, and they made me do it anyway. And she said, "Well, yeah, that's what parents are like." And I said, "Well, I could go home, but then my mother would probably have a go at me." And then she said, "All right, have a think about it, and I'll come back." While I was, I texted my dad at some point. I can't remember when it was, or well, I even say because I can't look at the phone. It was either me texting him prompted him to come over, or she called him and he came. I'm not sure which. He came in and we came into the office with me, and we had a chat about it and everything, and he said is supposed to teach you to do things, to just get on and do things that you don't want to do, but I'm not getting paid for it. It's not the kind of job I would take, being paid, so it's not really, gonna help. And look, if you want to go home, go home. Thankfully, I'd driven in that day. Me and my dad had carpooled rather than him driving in. So I was able to go home. And when my mum got home, obviously my dad had, rung her or something and spoken to her about it. She wasn't annoyed or anything, not that I could tell anyway. And then I went and picked up my dad and brought him home and all of that. And yeah, they haven't asked me back since. So obviously, they decided that I'm, not going to carry on with that, which, thankfully. It would have been all right if I'd have been just doing IT stuff, but the woman who coordinated the volunteering said they literally had no IT work to do, and the only reason why I was doing the data entry is because it was something she hated doing, and she was, just giving it to me because there was nothing else for me to do. So yeah, it looks like there wouldn't really be any IT work to be done there, even though that was the whole point of me volunteering in the first place. I just find it annoying as hell that I told them I didn't want to work in the admin office, and I only wanted to do the IT work, yet they still invited me in when there was no IT work to be done. And it's like I got the data entry by default. And then there's the whole thing about my parents asking me if I wanted to volunteer and ignoring me when I said no. And if you're just going to force me to do it anyway, don't even bother giving me the illusion of choice. It's insulting. But yeah, I'm guessing that's over and done with. And I mean, at some point, someone might say something like, there's some stuff to do, do you still want to come? But I don't know when or if that's going to happen and what will happen as a result of that. The only other things particularly special that's going to be happening this year that I know of is we're going to South Africa for the third time, volunteering at the Daniel Cheetah Project, a big cat sanctuary near the town of Uitenhage. We spend. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. Maybe it's a week, maybe 2 weeks. Can't remember. But they have on-site accommodation, which is like a house for the people who go volunteering, and people who are permanent on-site employees and all of that to live in. And we go into the enclosures, we clean them out, we feed the animals every day at certain times, and a few times during the day, you can just have the rest of the afternoon until, say, 4:30 or 5 off to do whatever you want, and that includes going into the animal enclosures and playing with them, essentially. I mean, there's some that you can't go in with. You can't go in with the lions because they're too big now, and even though they mean well, it's like, they don't know their own strength. They might kill you accidentally. You can't go in with the leopards because they're a little bit crazy. A few of the cheetahs aren't really domesticated, and they don't like people going in with them. But there's others. You can go in with some of the servals. Servals are like sort of cats that are the size of dogs, and there's caracals, which are slightly larger cats. They also have African wildcats, which are pretty much cats, but some, was it anthropologists? The scientists are anthropologists. The scientists who study animals. They think that the African wildcat is either the species that the domestic cat was bred from, or the domestic cat and the African wildcat share a common ancestor, and yeah, they're just like cats. Maybe a little bigger. There are some that are tiny little things, that when they're fully grown, they're the size of kittens. But yeah, you can go in there, you can play with them. There's one there called Gia, who likes playing football. You just run around with the ball, kicking it to her, and she'll run and grab it and run off with it, and he'll throw it back to you and everything. It's pretty fun. They can get a little bit boisterous at times. Yeah, there's this one called Diesel. What was it? Is it Diesel? Diesel and petrol. I think it might be Diesel. Diesel, maybe? Was it Diesel? God, it's been so long since we were there, I can't remember. But he's a very fun guy. You go in there and he'll run up to you, and he'll start rubbing up against you, and you can stroke him and scratch him and all of that. But he like you get with a normal house cat. Sometimes they get a bit, while you're playing with them. It's all fun and games for him, but bloody hurts. Biting and digging his claws in and hanging off your shirt and everything. Still, it's nice playing with these wild animals that have been either partially or fully domesticated. They've also got meerkats, though you can't go in with them because they'll bite you. The cheeses are nice. It's just like having a big cat or a dog. I suppose one thing that I can talk about is my passion for video games. Most recently, I've completed Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It's been out for a while, but I've had it for a while. I just haven't really gotten around to finishing it. I love pirate games. I don't really like the Assassin's Creed games, but I got Assassin's Creed 4 because it's like the best way to describe it is Pirates of the Caribbean with assassination. I've always liked playing pirate games. I think, one of the first ones I remember. We've had some old, really ancient ones on Windows 95 computer and stuff, but one that definitely stuck with me that I've still got and I still play to this day, even though it was released in 1999, is Sea Dogs. There's nothing that I have played has come close to topping that, in terms of, the immersion, the scale of what you can do. I mean, even though the map in Assassin's Creed 4 is bigger than the one on Sea Dogs, and it's like a living, breathing world. People going around doing stuff. There's a hell of a lot more places to visit and things to do, but the problem with Assassin's Creed 4 is it's too linear. I mean, sure, you've got side quests that that you can do in between doing the main quest and whatnot, but you can capture as many ships as you like. You can capture gunboats, you can capture pinnaces, brigs and frigates and man of wars and all of that, but you can only use the ship you're given, which is a brig called the Jackdaw. You can upgrade that. You can put new cannons on it. You can get armor plating on it. You can upgrade a whole host of stuff. But it's still a pretty small ship that hasn't got a lot of. It's like, you know, the best way to describe what they do is they put it on steroids. You know, you can put upgrades on it that you'd never, you know, conceivably be able to put on a real brig, and it kind of skews the level. I mean, because, you know, level's a thing that's only really in games, but it's, you know, its abilities, so that you can take on, you know, 100+ gun man of wars, and you've only got a little brig with a single gun deck on it, you know, which isn't realistic at all. Whereas in Sea Dogs, you can capture any ship you want. You know, you start off with a tiny little pinnace, and then you can work your way up. You know, you can buy ships, you can capture ships, and it doesn't matter what you've got. I mean, even if you've got a tiny little pinnace, you could still, if you're very lucky, like I managed to do once, you could still, if you got a lucky shot in, and, you know, you had a well-trained crew with all the stats enhancing officers and stuff, you know, you can still take out, you know, like a frigate, and maybe, if you're really, really lucky, a man of war, board it and take control of it. Or you know, conversely, if you had a man of war, you could, you know, capture a pinnace and use the pinnace as your ship. You know, you're given the freedom to do whatever you want. Whereas with Assassin's Creed 4, it's like, you know, this is the ship you've got. It doesn't matter that you've just captured a man of war with 130 guns, and you're free to do whatever you want with it. You still can't command it yourself. Which is lame. And the brig's a pretty boring ship, and they don't really have many, you know, different ships. I mean, the ship types are all the same. You know, you've only got gunboats, you've only got pinnaces, you've only got brigs, you've only got frigates, you've only got man of wars. Whereas in Sea Dogs and other, you know, pirating games, you've got galleons, you've got sloops, you've got a flute, however they pronounce that, because it's Dutch. War galleons, fast galleons, caravels, frigates, corvettes, brigs, man of wars, battleships. Probably some ship designs that they've made up themselves, and that's what I love. You know, the level of, you know, freedom and detail and choice that you've got in the games, which Assassin's Creed 4 really doesn't have. The only thing that you've got a choice over is, you know, is the swords and the guns that you have, which really, frankly, I don't give a toss about. I wouldn't really care if the game gave you a cutlass and a pistol at the start of the game, and that was all you had, as long as I could choose my own ship. You know, I mean, it's still a good game. The assassination sequences, you know, can get a bit tiring after a while, and the stealth ones, usually on a particular mission, you're given a choice of how you want to approach. You know, you can do it stealthily and avoid getting detected, always assassinating people from the shadows and all of that, or you could just go in, you know, guns blazing and kill everybody to get to your objective. Now, I usually try to do it stealthily. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But the levels that force you to be stealthy, and, you know, as soon as you're detected, you fail and have to start again, it's like, oh, some of them, you know, I'm doing like, you know, 20, 30, 40 times before I finally manage to get it done. It's ridiculous. I'm not very good with stealth games. And I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Rogue, which according to Ubisoft is the direct sequel to Black Flag. You know, otherwise I wouldn't bother, but, you know, because it's, you know, like Black Flag, you know, you still sail a ship, you still, you know, got freedom to sail around whenever you want, you know, visiting places, doing all the side quests and whatnot. You know, yeah, right, that's what I love doing. Sid Meier's Pirates is pretty good as well. You know, there's 3 different versions of the game. You've got the original one from like 1988. You got a remake from 1994, and then you've got a remake from like 2005, possibly. But yeah, that's a pretty good game. I mean, it's more of a I would say strategy, but possibly real-time strategy. But it's it's a mix between real-time strategy and adventure, and maybe a bit of RPG thrown in as well, possibly. You're still given reasonable choice of ships that you want. You can capture any ship, take any ship that you want for your own, and all of that. But it's still not quite the same as Sea Dogs. I've played Sea Dogs spiritual sequels. The original Pirates of the Caribbean game originally was going to be called Sea Dogs 2, but Bethesda decided they were going to hop on the Pirates of the Caribbean bandwagon and renamed it and put in a few slight references to the movie. But none of them even remotely compare to Sea Dogs. Like, I've played Pirates of the Caribbean, I've played Age of Pirates Caribbean Tales, and I've done a little bit of I haven't really done a lot in any of them. It's like I've played them for an hour. It's like, this doesn't feel right. I don't enjoy those games like I enjoyed Sea Dogs, and like I still enjoy Sea Dogs, even though the game is 16 years old now. Someone really needs to make a modern version of Sea Dogs. I would just love the hell out of that, but unfortunately no. I mean, everybody loves a good pirate game, but it's like, they want to make it too linear, and not give you choice in the matter. And I mean, they're all right. I'll play them. They're still enjoyable. I mean, it's still a pirate game, but I want freedom in a pirate game. Like pirates themselves wanted freedom. Yeah. There was another one that that was supposed to come out like in 2010, but they kept delaying it. I found out about it in October. It must have been October. It was due to be released in late October, so I pre-ordered it. Then they delayed it to November, then they delayed it to December, then they delayed it to January, and then they delayed it to February, and then they finally released it. But the game was so broken. It's like, I think the only reason why they released it is because people kept cancelling their pre-orders and saying that they weren't gonna buy it because of all of the delays. Because seriously, I mean, it was like playing an early access game, the beta. Like, so many dialogues were missing. There were so many glitches, so many bugs. Things that the quests weren't working properly. There's a quest that takes away all your equipment, and then you finish the quest and you've got no equipment left. You've got no flags, you've got no swords, you've got no guns, and the game is effectively broken because you can't complete the game without your flags, and you can't buy flags, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, it seems like, it could be a good game. I played a bit of it, but I'm waiting now till they've released all the patches to iron all the bugs out and put all the content back in, because, I pre-ordered it, and you get extra stuff for pre-ordering it, and I pre-ordered the deluxe edition, so you get extra stuff for ordering the deluxe edition as well. And it's like, none of that was in there. They release, I'd open up my Steam content, and it would say that, there was a download for this game. And I check it, and it was they put in a folder for the deluxe edition content, but all of it wasn't there, and it was only the extra stuff, not the in-game items. And then they finally released the in-game items, and they say the pre-order stuff is going to be unlocked on this date, and then that day comes and gone, and there's no pre-order stuff, and it's Jesus bloody Christ. I mean, I know we get pissed off that you delay this stuff. I would rather you kept delaying it so that it was a perfectly polished and, decent game with with all the stuff that I pre-ordered and all of that. Rather than, you releasing it in an unfinished state and then me having to wait. Because, it's like, me having to wait is just like, it not being released. No, I can't play it. Do I really want to in that buggy state? a lot of developers seem to be doing it these days. I mean, it's a lot easier now because, you know, everything's constantly connected to the internet, and, you know, you get patches on it, and it's like, you know, it's like Activision releasing Battlefield, which is effectively almost alpha state as a full retail price, and then, you know, you're paying effectively to be a beta tester, full retail price. And, you know, there's so many bugs and glitches and things like the game crashed all the time, according to people, things that I've read, and my brother said, because I don't play those games. And you know, day one patches and stuff, and games that are released pretty much broken, and then they keep getting patched until they finally work. I mean, it's not like in the old days. I mean, you know, you buy a game in the late 90s, you know, even if it was on PC, it was probably going to be perfectly functional, and, you know, only minor glitches, you know, they would release a few patches for to fix stuff. You know, if it was on console, it would be perfect, because that, you know, you couldn't patch a console game. But, you know, since the Xbox 360 came along, it's like that's just the way things go. So, you know, you release a game that, you know, that's got bugs in it, you think, you know, do I want to delay it and, you know, fix these bugs? No, we'll just release it, we'll have a day one patch, and then we'll fix anything else that comes along. And it's, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. And then there's all this bloody DLC as well. I've just been waffling on about games, and this video was supposed to be about, you know, my stuff that had gone on since I got my diagnosis. But, you know, there's really not much to talk about that. I mean, I don't know how many. Well, I could have been doing this for 30 minutes. Do you really want to sit here and listen to me talk about games for half an hour? Really? Please comment on the video and tell me if you want me to carry on talking about games in future, because I've got a lot to say. I just expect nobody wants to hear it. And when I get started, I just can't stop. Ugh. Yeah, stop talking about games. Computers. How about that then for a while? I don't know how long this video is going to be. I mean, I might even have to break it up a bit into several things. Like this is a video about what's been going on with my diagnosis. This is about games. This is about computers. But anyway, Windows 10 brought back the start menu, back by popular demand. Yeah, Windows 8 was a travesty. You know, I'm using it now because I had to format my PC, because, you know, my PC was just getting worse and worse, and things were just stopping working. I mean, you know, I am a tech guy. I've got Microsoft qualifications and all that. I've worked fixing computers, or attempted working fixing computers, since 2009. You know, it's I'm not exactly sure what's caused all of these problems. I mean, it's not viruses, because, you know, I'm smart. I don't, you know, download questionable stuff very often. You know, I've always got antivirus. I scan anything before I, you know, extract it from, you know, a RAR or a zip file or whatever. And if something looks remotely dodgy, I'm not gonna touch it. But, you know, some just get getting worse and worse and worse, and it got to the stage where, yeah, I'm gonna have to format and reinstall because things just aren't working properly. And I thought, you know, seeing that I've got free copies, because I used to have a Microsoft TechNet subscription, which let me have, you know, their entire library of software on a certain day. Unfortunately, I signed up for it, you know, after they stopped offering, you know, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows ME, Windows 2000, etc., which was annoying because I would have liked that. But anyway, so yeah, you know, I had, you know, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, you know, the server editions and stuff. So I thought, you know, seeing as I've got this, you know, Windows 8 license key, I might as well try it, because, you know, I think, you know, Windows 8.1 update 1 and all of that. I mean, it's supposed to be a hell of a lot better than it used to be, and of course I bought a license for Stardock Start 8, which is a start menu replacement thing, and you know, it effectively makes it like Windows 7 again. So, you know, I may as well just do that for, you know, just for the sake of it. But yeah, it's still annoying in some regards, and sometimes I wish I still had Windows 7. I mean, hell, to be honest, I still wish I was running Windows Vista, but I can't run Windows Vista because Intel stopped providing drivers for it, so I can't use my integrated GPU for my secondary monitors. And it's like, fuck you, Intel, seriously. It's almost exactly the same as Windows 7. It uses the same drivers as Windows 7, for God's sake, but you don't let us install them on Vista, which is just pissy. And I know I'm in the minority for loving Vista, but yeah, I never really had any problems with it at all. The only reason why I upgraded to Windows 7 is because, you know, I had to. Well, you know, Windows 10, that's going to be free for users of Windows 7 and Windows 8 to upgrade to. So my plan is use one of the Windows 8 or 8.1 license keys I've got to get a free copy of Windows 10 when it comes out, install it on my PC. You know, if I like it, I'll keep it. You know, I've been running I've been doing a little bit with the technical preview, but I'm not really going to install that on my computer and use that as a main OS because it's not proven yet, and I don't really like using betas as a main OS. It's like, no, I just won't do that, and I don't have anything really. I mean, well, no, tell a lie. I do have things that I could install that on, and it could, you know, be perfectly functional and all of that. But you know, again, I would use them just as infrequently as I would have, you know, as I'd install it on a virtual machine like I've got it on now. I mean, literally, you know, I install it on the virtual machine, I have a look around, you know, see what the new start menu's like. I look at, you know, the control panel to see if there are any new entries there. I'll look at the things that I frequently do to see if they are different on Windows 10, and all of that. So yeah, but anyway, some things have gone a bit squiffy on this Windows 8.1 installation already, and I've only been using it since late December, and yeah, so I'm going to blame Windows 8.1 for that and not myself, because I think I'm smart enough to be able to not screw up my own operating system just by doing the things I do with it. I mean, on occasion I have done, but that's because I've done something that I don't normally do. And yeah, it's just gone pear-shaped. But yeah, when Windows 10 comes out, I'll install that and use it all. I mean, supposedly Windows 10 is better for gaming than Windows 8, even though Windows 8 was supposed to be better for gaming than Windows 7, which really does not seem to be the case at all. And to be honest, the operating system that I had least compatibility issues with when it came to games was probably Vista after a while. You know, after they patched it and all of that. I mean, we know Windows XP was fine enough. I mean, the only operating system that I could, you know, well, the last operating system that I could recall, you know, not really having many problems on at all was Windows 95. I mean, the good thing about the, you know, Windows 95 and Windows 98 is when the operating system blue screened or crashed on it, you could still recover from it. You know, just press any key, and you know, you could go back and doing what you wanted to do, because it was usually just telling you that the program that you were using had, you know, screwed up. And very rarely did I have an unrecoverable error with Windows 95. And hell, the last time I used Windows 95 was in 2002. Well, you know, used it as a daily desktop OS, because that was when we replaced our Windows 95 machine with Windows XP. But yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be installing Windows 10 when it comes out, especially because it's free. If it wasn't free, I would have just probably ended up going back to using Windows 7. But yeah, because it's free, and I'm definitely going to at least try it for a while, format the machinery and so on. And the good thing about having the likes of Steam and having, extra hard drives and whatnot, I've got my SSD for Windows. I've got a 3TB drive for storage and some, putting most of my games on, because the SSD is only 128 gigs, so I don't put all of my games on that. It's only ones that benefit from using an SSD. And I've got Steam on another one, so when I reinstall Windows, it's not as painstaking a process as it used to be. I don't have to reinstall all my games. I don't have to copy over my data, because my data is still secure on the storage drive, and for the most part I just play games via Steam now. So it's just a case of me reinstalling Steam, and all my games are still there on the drive, and I don't have to download them again. So yeah, realistically, when Windows 10 comes up, I could be back up and running in an hour or less, back to playing my games and all of that. But yeah, there are all sorts of rumours about when it's going to be being released. Some kids messing with a horn by the sound of it. But yeah, there's all sorts of rumours. Some people, I've heard that PCs are going to come shipped with Windows 10 in September, but there's people saying that Windows 10 will be released in weeks. And it's like, well, maybe it's going to be released, for companies to start, like Dell and HP, to start working on getting their new PC spec'd out for it, getting drivers and all of that. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be released to the public. I might get it early because I had a TechNet subscription. Even though they don't have TechNet anymore, I might qualify to get it early. Or people who are upgrading just might get it early. It all just depends on Microsoft, really. Hopefully it won't be too long, because I really do not want to have to reinstall Windows, because Windows 8 just keeps getting worse or more annoying. Then have to go and install Windows 10 not long after I've just reinstalled Windows 8.1. So yeah, hopefully soon. Can't really think of anything to talk to you guys about beyond that, which is probably a good thing, because this video might be 40 minutes long by now. I really don't know, but yeah, once I finally get my fair access to care assessment, I'll be sure to make another video and tell you a lot about it. Hopefully something good will come out of that. In an ideal world, I might I'll be able to get disability benefit, so I didn't have to work, but I'm not holding out much hope for that. It's not really a realistic hope, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully I'll find out soon, and they won't keep dragging their feet and making me wait like everybody else has up till now. Anyway, be seeing you.